Hello, my name is Petya Gritanska from iTechnology, and today I'm here to show you what improvements we have in our product, iTechnology Form Accelerator. Actually, we are talking about version 2.5 that will be released in November, but right now you can download it as a beta and give us some feedback. We will appreciate your feedback a lot. Before we begin, let me remind you quickly what iTFA is. And first of all, this is a tool that provides you with electronic forms for SharePoint. It's a web-based designer, just drag and drop to design forms, one click to publish. iTFA has a strict versioning control on design and runtime. You have a centralized management, and besides that, you can integrate your forms with workflow providers like K2 and Nintex very easily. As an addition, version 2.5 gives another tool for even easier and faster way to create forms. This version comes with web services support. Now you have more control on the forms by introducing events, so you get control on the forms and their events. And you have possibility to integrate your forms with Nintex by using iTFA FlexiTask and data event for Nintex. On the other side, for the administrators, 2.5 provides improved deployment procedure. We have now a deployment panel. It has improved integration page, very much improved the runtime and management side. With 2.5 you can install on a localized SharePoint and you can even localize it yourself. Moreover, it has improved CSS scheme. And the first demo for today is about wizards. Wizards is actually an additional tool that comes with this version of iTFA, and this tool is again web-based. You can find it here under iTFA management side. And here we have another additional link called Forms Wizards. As I said, this is a web-based tool and you can easily create forms right here. It is categorized under blank and custom forms, where just simple blank form and SharePoint forms are. And then we have web services integrated category, where basic submit form and written submit forms are. So now if I select the basic submit form and click on next, we will see that the next page will load, and right here on the top we can see that there are 3 steps altogether. So we have just 3 steps to create the form, and the first step is to select a web service where the form will be submitted to actually. So I'm selecting the service now, and as we can see, we have now the list of all the parameters available for this service. And now here we can choose which parameter to be displayed on the form, and even which parameter to be saved as a SharePoint column. So clicking on next, and the next step is to select where actually the form will be saved. And in this case I will choose demos as subsite, and let me just type some name of the form. It will be hello wizard. And the next step is to generate the form. You can see here the progress going on, and we have different steps like creating of the form, initializing the form, the list with the form, preparing the user interface, save and publish. And all these steps usually users have to do manually, but by using the wizards you can simplify this procedure and get the form ready right away. And once all the steps are done, we have an option either to open the form in Designer or to select to create an instance right away. So I will choose to create an instance. We have 2 fields. One is to enter some message, and the message will be hello, my first form form, for example, and my name is Petya. Now when I click save, on save, things will happen. First, the item will be saved to SharePoint, and the next thing is that the data will be submitted to the service I have selected. So let me click on save, and now form is saved, and here I have this page, hello visitor. It's a test page, and as we can see, the data of the wizard of this is actually data that has been submitted by the form. And we can see that it says hello Petya, and you entered hello my first form. It was very easy and very quickly. I think it took us no more than 2 minutes. But on the second step I showed you how on the first step actually, I showed you that we selected web services, and I never entered something like HTTP or something like that. And probably you will ask, how does it happen? And this is where the improved management site comes. As we can see, this is iTFA management site, and as you can see on the left side we have 2 links. Those are security credentials and web services. By opening security credentials, here you can enter the security credential actually. So you can enter either select it to be a delegation or enter specific username and passwords. And this is what your users, so this is done by administrators, and this is what the users will be using in order to submit data to services. And the other list is web services. Let me just show you how one item looks like. And as you can see here, you can choose enter service name, choose what type of authentication it is, and so on and so on. The reason we decided to take this approach is first to simplify business users' work, so they don't have to consider what type of authentication the service has, for example, and then give more control on the administrators in order to prevent entering in wrong data and getting support questions and things like that. So give more power to the administrators on one side, and on the other side simplify business users' work. Okay, let's see what we have next, and it's time for the next demo. And this is my Hello 2.5 demo. Here I would like to show you what other improvements we have. Let me just open my home site and open this list. It's called Hello 2.5, and actually this list is already integrated with iTFA Forms Accelerator, and let me show you. It's under list settings. Here iTFA Forms integration link. By clicking on it, integration page below. And what we can now see, well, for those of you who already worked with previous versions of iTFA, it's already clear that we have a lot of more controls. In the previous version we have just integration enabled or disabled, and right now administrators have the opportunity to specify what resources the business users will be using. For example, as an administrator, you can choose whether or not the form designers will be working with SharePoint fields or iTFA fields. And going even deeper, administrators can specify where from the data schema for the form will be loaded. It's again web service, so administrators have to specify the web service and what parameter of this web service will be translated into as an iTFA data model. But those settings are already down here, and let me just open Designer. Once, as you probably already know, once the list is integrated, you get additional link here under list actions. You have iTFA Forms Designer, and by selecting it, the designer will load. Let me just show you the form. As you can see, the data is already loaded. This is the data model that is coming right away from a service, so I didn't have to do anything as addition to add additional fields. And this is how my form looks like. As I mentioned, with version 2.5 of iTFA, you get more control on the form, and more control, especially more control on the advanced side of the form. And right now, if I click here, as you can see, there is another button called Events on the top right corner of my perspective. So if I click here, we can see how Events panel looks like. This is how form lifecycle looks like. So, for example, on load, before the form is actually loaded, we can specify that we need this form data to be populated from a service, and we can choose read from web service event, load the service details, and then map iTFA fields to service outcome fields. So right now my message will be pre-populated once the form is loaded. And then on Save button we can choose to submit data to a service, and it's very much the same like the one I showed you with the wizards. But even more, designing a form with iTFA is very simple, as we all know. So let me just create one more item. It will be a text field, and I can just drop it somewhere here on the canvas. And let's choose to edit its properties. So right now I can choose that this field will be a drop-down, and with version 2.5 you have an additional option for drop-down fields. It goes right here under initial state, and this option is to load data from a service. It's pretty much the same user interface like the one you saw on the events, and here we need to choose a service, connect to this service, and then select which fields to be displayed as a value and as a text for the data mode. So very easy, very simple, and data is coming from additional source. It's not limited to free enter text or SharePoint stuff. But let me move on with the next part of this demo, and this is about